Good evening, everyone. This is the meeting of the Special Charter Review Committee for May 22nd, 2023. We are located in the hearing room at One Government Center on the first floor. I'm the Vice Chair, Dan Robillard, and we have a quorum, so we're ready. Could we have attendance, please?
John Mitchell, President.
Tracy Almeida.
Kathy Nemkovich.
Laura Washington.
Mimi Larrabee.
I'm gonna read the open meeting law statement. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. Salute to the flag, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have the minutes for the May 15th, 2023 meeting. I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to adopt and place on file.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Discussion and review of the following sections. I've asked Member Nankovich to read each section that's on the agenda. We're gonna go section by section and see what goes. Yes, 1 second. And then we will take motions and votes as necessary on each section listed on the agenda. Public comment.
I'll give you Dennis, 25 Rights Way, Fall River.
At the last meeting, there was a discussion about enforcement of the charter. It's on the agenda for tonight. And I found some language from Reading, Pennsylvania. Originally, I was gonna email it to the 4 people that were at last meeting. Then I said, well, why you leave everybody else out? Because now we're gonna resend it to the other people. I was gonna have Rainey copy it to you people, so you should have all gotten an email from me. Part of the thing, it was, you were discussing about having a committee. One of the things was section 1 in Reading, supremacy of the charter, saying the charter is the governing law of the city. The charter is the governing law of the city of Reading. No action or inaction by city council, the administration, or any other body created by this charter shall be taken contrary to it, whether individually, collectively, by ordinance, resolution, practice, executive order, or decision, or any other means. So the charter is, the law of the land, and whether people like it or not, they should be abiding by it and enforcing that. And I'd like to see that language put into that section there about enforcement of the charter. They also have their charter board. They formed their charter board, and some of their procedures and everything are kind of elaborate, but the charter board shall hear and decide all cases of alleged violations of the charter and administrative code. They went one step further. The administrative code is the ordinances of the city to make sure that the ordinance, not only the charter is being followed, but the ordinances. Then they have an elaborate process and, that sort of thing. So there is something out there that, you guys can probably use as a model if you so desire, but at least that first section there about the charter being the governing law, I think we got to put that in there because people read something, if they don't like it, they don't abide by it, and nobody does anything. And the way the language reads now, It's up to private citizens to sue the city and spend their own money to get the charter enforced. So this sets up a board with all the rights, and they put the board together with their rules and regulations by ordinance. So everything's supposed to be legal and that sort of thing. That was a topic of discussion at last time too, is how you make everything enforceable. They got the right to fine people and that sort of thing. So I think you all have a copy of this, so I should have got my email. And that's it. The other thing, in the recall election, I don't know where you stand on that, but if there is an election, I think that the election should go as far as the next city election. Like we have our city elections in November, but the term of office of mayor goes to December 31st, I guess, right, till the end of the year. So that period from the date of the recall election to January 1st, I think the person that's elected in the next recall should get retroactive to the date. That way you don't have to worry about, well, this person wasn't elected. We have a mayor that's not even elected by the people. You know, he may gain a month to a month and a half on his term. And at least, you know, you can say that, well, we've got a person that's elected by the people. So if you, I think you're leaning not to have any elections, which, good for you. And, but if you do have elections, I think once the recall election is there and he's out and there's a replacement, that replacement will serve until the end of the year or until the next mayor is elected. And he'll come right on board from, you know, day one, once he gets certified or whatever, qualified or whatever the term is that they use. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let the record reflect for this meeting that Secretary Paul Machado is absent and Charter Clerk Timothy Campos is also absent. Discussions of the following sections in the charter. I'm not sure if anyone here requested any of these. Some of these we've already dealt with once, but following the agenda, section 2.1, terms of office. Ms. Mankiewicz, would you start off by reading each section into the record, and we'll see if anyone has any questions.
Sure. Section 2-1, composition, term of office, eligibility. A, compensation, composition. There shall be a city council consisting of 9 members elected at large, which shall exercise the legislative powers of the city. B, term of office. The term of office for city councilors shall be 2 years each, beginning on the first Monday in the January succeeding the councilor's election, except when that first Monday falls on a legal holiday, in which event the term shall begin on the following day and until successors have been qualified. C, eligibility. Any voter shall be eligible to hold the office of councilor at large. If a councilor at large removes from the city during the councilor's term, that office shall immediately be deemed vacant and filled in the manner provided in section 2-11. The city council shall determine whether a councilor has removed from the city. I read the original. I believe we took out that last sentence that I read. The city council shall determine whether a councilor has removed from the city.
We did.
Yep.
Took it out.
That's fine. Does anyone have any questions thus far?
Do we know why it was on the,
I have no idea.
Because Rena wanted to discuss it. She told me that much.
do you know which part?
She wants term limits.
Oh,
So I don't know if there's any sense of wanting term limits, but,
You want to
So-
table it and go back? And
yeah, I
If
don't
you
know.
think-
I mean,
Does anyone here have any questions?
I do not.
I mean, I don't,
I'd like to see the mayor be a 4-year term limit, but I don't, that's just,
I would like to see that too.
only 4 years? Or
4.
a four-year term,
Four-year term for the mayor.
yeah.
A 4-year instead of 2 years?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's not the term limit, that's the length of the term.
That's the
Term,
term of
yeah.
office.
Yeah,
That would
I
be under
agree,
the term of
4
office.
years,
Yeah.
because I think you just start getting,
do we wanna propose that?
Yeah.
'Cause this would be
is
the
there a
section, right?
section?
So
Yeah.
the term limit of the office of city council shall be,
She's making the motion or whatever.
No, wait, no, I don't.
No, this is,
No,
no,
this is
no,
city
this is
council.
city
That's
councilors.
it, I don't think that's
Oh,
the
this is only
section.
city
This
council?
is city
Council.
councilors.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
legislative branch, yeah, all right, this is,
See, I
The
feel the
mayor-
opposite, I think councilors, I mean, I don't know if there should be a term limit, but if the mayor
a term
went to
limit-
4-year term, I
Yeah.
think.
so
2
that's
or
a
3
different
terms
section,
would
that's
make
section
sense,
3-1, the term of the office of the mayor shall be 2
Yeah.
years.
I'm sorry, I don't think a term, I think I'm saying it wrong. Not a term, I think the
The office?
length of office should be a 2-year,
And you think
I
the
mean, a
limit should
4-year, I think it should
For
go
the
up
mayor.
to 4-year.
Right,
The
here.
length of, it should be 4
The
years.
term of office of the mayor shall be 2 years.
Yeah, it should be 4 years.
So that's a different section.
That's
Yeah,
not
so
on
then
the
that's
agenda,
another section.
right.
What
Sorry,
about
Peter.
councilors?
No, I'm happy the way it is.
I don't think, I think,
You like running every 2 years? Laura?
No, not at all.
no, actually, no.
No, I don't, but I don't know if that's the part, that's, you know.
No, I don't,
But,
okay.
but I think for the stability of this, but that's a whole nother, that's not on the agenda, so I'm not, I
Right.
don't wanna be
For
on.
that
The
particular,
term of the mayor's office is not on
And on the agenda, so
Yeah, that's what I
yeah,
said.
I
So
got
we-
confused in this section.
but
My
in terms
fault.
of if this is a section that she wanted to talk about,
I don't
mean,
know, I don't
think
have
it's
it.
fine.
Motion to, motion to
Section
table
is on the agenda,
2.1.
We can talk about it.
There's
And
there's a
that's-
motion to
it's on the
table
agenda.
by Committeewoman
That's for
Levinson.
Second.
Can I have a second?
Second,
Seconded
Oh,
by
really?
Councilor
Yeah.
Washington.
Yeah.
There is no debate or discussion on a motion to table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted.
all right.
Section 2.1 is tabled. Moving on to section 2.7, access to information.
2-7, access to information. A, in general, the city council may make investigations into the affairs of the city and into the conduct and performance of any city agency. B, information requests. The city council may require a member of a multiple-member body, city officer, or a city employee to appear before the city council to give any information that the city council may require in relation to the municipal services, functions, and powers or duties which are within the scope of responsibility of that person and not within the jurisdiction of the school committee. C, mayor. The city council may request specific information from the mayor on any municipal matter and may request that the mayor be present to answer written questions relating to that information at a meeting that the council may call within a reasonable time after the request is made to the mayor. The mayor shall personally or through a designee attend such meeting and respond to the questions. The mayor or the person designated to attend shall not be required to answer questions relating to any other matter. The council may further delineate procedures under this provision in the council's rules. D, notice. The city council shall, by resolution, request the attendance of any officer or employee of the city, but not including the school committee or employees of the school department, to appear before it under this section. The resolution shall include the subject on which the city council seeks information and may contain specific questions prepared by the council. No officer or employee called to appear before the city council under this section shall be required to respond to any question not relevant to the subject of the inquiry as identified in the resolution. The mayor shall receive a copy of all such resolutions.
Thank you. Discussion, comments, questions, motions.
Does the mayor come down, Laura, for anything other than the state of the city?
Not
I mean, I
that-
know Will did a few times in Jaysville, but
Not that I-
traditionally, they never came.
They never, I've not seen him, school committee stuff, no.
Yeah, the joint meeting,
The
right?
joint meeting, yeah.
His budget
Yeah,
and his address to the city.
No, it's usually the city administrator.
J.J. walked in on the city council meeting once.
Yeah, that
yeah, he
was
went, I
interesting.
think Will Flanagan went a few times to present things.
Do we know why this is on the agenda?
I have no idea. I asked myself for two sections to
I
be,
thought we went over this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to be put on this agenda. I have a piece in section 3.2, and I have a proposal which would be entirely new language at the end of Article 6. That's all I asked for to be on this agenda.
and I don't have any
Moving table
markings.
27.
Yeah, I don't have any markings.
Motion to table
Second.
2.7 by
John.
Committee Member Mayor John Mitchell, seconded by Member Mimi Larrabee. No discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 2.7 is tabled. Moving on to 3.2.
Section 3-2, Executive Powers, Enforcement of Ordinances. The executive powers of the city shall be vested solely in the mayor and may be exercised by the mayor either personally or through the several city agencies under the general supervision and control of the office of the mayor. The mayor shall cause this charter, ordinances, and other orders of the city government to be enforced and shall cause a record of all official acts of the executive branch of the city government to be kept. The mayor shall exercise general supervision and direction over all city agencies unless otherwise provided by law or by this charter. Each city agency shall furnish to the mayor, upon request, any information or materials the mayor may request, and as the needs of the office of mayor and the interests of the city may require. The mayor shall supervise, direct, and be responsible for the efficient administration of all city activities and functions placed under the control of the mayor or by law or by this charter. The mayor shall be, the mayor, did I read that wrong?
Yep.
The mayor shall be responsible, I thought I just read this, for the efficient and effective coordination of the activities of all agencies of the city and may call together for consultation, conference, and discussion at reasonable times all persons serving the city, whether elected directly by the voters, chosen by persons elected directly by the voters, or otherwise. The mayor shall be, by virtue of the office, a member of every appointed multiple-member body of the city. The mayor may, as such ex officio member, attend a meeting of an appointed multiple-member body of the city at any time, including executive sessions, so called, to participate in the discussions of that body, but shall not have the right to vote.
I have one piece but before that, I'm gonna open it up to the rest of the members, and I will go last.
Does this though answer your question, because it says the mayor shall cause the charter to be enforced? 'Cause didn't you say,
Part of it.
yeah,
There's a whole
okay.
section on enforcement of the charter, within the charter. So that's the thing on your agenda, I think, to get into it.
It's 9:14.
Yeah. I don't have anything on this. I don't have any notes on it either.
I don't have no notes on it.
What's
I have
yours,
no-
Danny?
Everyone,
The only other piece that I might suggest is listing the actual agencies or offices that are under this provision. So it just says executive branch, and it also refers to as several city agencies. The language is a little bit loose, and so maybe,
the language is loose, I've said why 100 times. The mayor is the chief executive of the city. He is ultimately responsible.
Or she.
Yeah, well, in this case,
Just
it's
saying.
any mayor is ultimately responsible for overseeing the entire operation of the city. Are there motions, changes, discussions?
So, Tracy, you mentioned that
in other parts
a
of
little
the
vague.
charter, we've noticed that language is vague. And you've pointed out, Mr. Robillard, that's a continuing theme throughout this document. So my suggestion is to make it slightly more explicit about exactly the agencies that we refer to in section 3-2,
So
so that
Do-
it's clear.
Do agencies ever get
created that, like,
Yeah,
do they?
once in a while.
So
They get
if-
changed a lot.
Yeah, my only concern with listing them would be then, if something changes and either an agency is renamed, eliminated, added, it wouldn't be covered then in the charter.
There's changes, there's reorganizations to departments. We've just seen a reorganization at the school committee level with facilities and operations. There's been numerous reorgs by numerous mayors over the years. We've changed DPW to facilities maintenance, the duties, so I for one wouldn't support it for the reasons that Ms. Nankovich points out. And as my colleague Ms. Almeida has said prior, when you start listing things, you exclude. So
Yeah.
Well, just ensuring that this language would be inclusive of all of those agencies rather than exclusive. If by listing them, it would serve to exclude potentially, I would not support it. It's just a discussion at this point, it's not a motion. And so that was the reason for the discussion.
Right.
Mostly, it just seems a little bit vague, and I wanna make sure that we're tightening up language and to ensure that this couldn't be argued in court. You know, to say that this is not an agency that's governed by or overseen by the mayor, therefore it doesn't have to meet the obligations of 3-2.
the whole charter is vague, so what is the wish
Well,
of?
are we covered though with the definition of city agency
That's what I'm looking at
maybe?
right now, any multiple
City
body,
agency, any multiple
any
member body, yeah,
department, division or
office of the city of Fall
It
River.
falls
Maybe
under-
that's where we make sure, and we did
That has to-
modify that language, right?
Right,
So that takes care of it. Do we then refer to the definition in that section?
as defined by city
Yeah,
agency.
Right,
Yeah.
just to make sure that we're, you
I
know,
mean, if we
explicit.
wanna clean that up, I mean, I think it's pretty clear, city agency, as it's defined here. You know, any multiple member body, any department, division or office of the city of Fall River.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty clear. And so let's refer to that in 3-2.
Okay,
That's my motion, that we refer
Okay.
to that definition in
Second.
3-2.
What exactly is the motion?
that we add stated in 1.7 what the city agency is defined
As
as.
defined by 1.7.
So you wanna list the agencies?
No,
No.
No,
No.
Just the definition.
we want to
as
reference,
What is
defined,
a city agency?
You wanna define what a city agency is?
It's
It
all-
is. It's already.
We wanna
defined in
point
We
one
want
to
to
it.
refer
Go
to
ahead,
it
we
Trace.
want to point to it.
in 3-2, just so there's no confusion about what that,
So it's gonna say city agency or whatever the language is, as defined in section 1.7.
Yeah, the definitions or whatever that becomes.
yeah,
May not be
1.7.3,
1.7, but
I mean, I don't know what
Yeah.
it would be.
whatever that the section of definitions, whatever that number ends up being.
That Tracy makes a motion to modify the language in, what section,
3-2.
3-2?
Right.
Is there a second?
Second,
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
aye,
Opposed?
section 6.
So voted. Mr. Bennett, you wanted to say something?
Well, I was gonna say, just take those three things that are in the definition, boards, whatever, subcommittees, or whatever the three things are that are listed in the definition of city agencies, and include that in the paragraph. So if they refer to the definition, just put it in the paragraph. What's the definition of agencies in the
well,
charter?
if you refer to the section, then any places in the charter where you're referring back to the section, if any changes were made, it would cover all of it. And so, I hear what you're saying, Mr. Dennis, and I agree, but we may refer in some of the other pieces of the document back to those definitions, and just to keep it clean and consistent, just
Trying to
referring back to those
simplify it.
sections, so we only have one place to change. But I agree, it's not a long list.
Mhm.
My one piece in this,
I think we gotta vote on that, right?
Oh, yeah.
We
Did we
just
vote?
did,
Oh, we did?
yeah.
Oh, all
I
right.
don't think we did.
And Tracy
Yeah.
made a motion,
I seconded it.
Yep.
Yeah,
think
but I don't
we
think we voted.
I asked for a vote, we didn't. All right, we got a motion made by Attorney Mayor John Mitchell, seconded by,
No, actually,
Oh.
the motion was made by
Tracy made the
Tracy.
motion, I
John
seconded it.
seconded.
all right, motion made by Tracy to modify that language, seconded by Mayor Mitchell. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So voted. My one little piece in this section is I have a real problem with the mayor being an ex officio board member of every single board. Any mayor, not just this mayor, any mayor at all. The reason I feel so strongly about this, and I vigorously argued this when we put it in, the mayor is, for the most part, with a few exceptions, the mayor is the appointing authority of all the boards, with some few exceptions. I just don't think he ought to be a member of any type, because a mayor under the current structure of our government is the appointing authority. So I would move to strike that section that allows any mayor to be an ex officio member of every board, because the mayor, by the duties of their office, is the appointing authority under our structure of government.
I happen to agree with you on that. It just seems pretty redundant. He's appointing people to those boards, so it seems very micromanaging at that point if he can be on the board. So I agree with that, Dan.
I disagree. I disagree,
Okay.
and here's the reason why. He doesn't have a right to vote. But the way that it reads is that he, being an ex officio member, he can attend a meeting, participate in discussions if needed. I mean, just because he appoints someone doesn't always mean that they're gonna have the same point of views.
Or interest.
But I would say that if he's needed, he can be this is my view, he can be invited to a meeting. So if the board is requesting that the mayor is there, they can invite the mayor to come down and sit and be at a
But
meeting.
isn't that what happens now, though?
No.
But what if they don't invite him and he wants to say something?
He can,
Well, he can because he,
just can't vote.
Right, that's what I'm saying, is if, I would feel differently if he had a right to vote on all these, but the fact that he doesn't have a right to vote, I don't see any harm with having him as an ex officio member.
Well, I'm making a motion to strike that section that allows the mayor to be an ex officio member. The motion will go forward or die at the will of the committee, but that's my motion.
I have just a
I'll
couple.
second it for discussion.
Yeah, I just wanna have some further discussion on it.
Yeah,
I just
no,
wanna,
that's right.
yeah, all right, good, perfect. So, thank you. So, as it stands right now, so the mayor can come to any meeting as an ex officio member and discuss whatever he wants, whenever he wants. He can, basically come to any meeting, whatever he wants, and say whatever he wants. But he also appoints people to each of his boards.
Absolutely.
So he doesn't have to do that, correct?
Absolutely.
Right.
He is by virtue of the office, and I'm using he because right now we have a male mayor. Okay? This
Yeah, we'll see.
applies to any mayor.
Mayor, right.
I don't care if Tom and Jerry is the mayor. I believe that this section gives the mayor too much power. The mayor is already the appointing authority, and whether I'm gonna say it, some people might not like it, but it's my opinion, okay? The mayor has the right, by virtue of his office, to stack boards. He appoints people, for the most part, I believe, that are friendly to him. This gives him even more power. But I wanna stress, my motion is not directed at Mayor Paul Coogan. It's directed at any mayor.
Do we know the history as to why this was put in there, Ken?
He's
Just
gonna
what
say,
I
we don't
read.
need the whole thing is a nightmare, it's a laborious task, right, Dan? But I will.
I'm
but-
just saying, was there a particular reason at
So the
any
mayor don't
point.
sit there and look at you and say, hey, I appointed you, you vote my way.
But I think
You
you
got-
could have one or
you
the
got eye
other, right?
contact
You
between
either
the people.
but the thing is this: it doesn't give him more power as a because he doesn't have a right to vote. But I think it can cause a lot of chaos if he just comes to every meeting and gets to say his point and then.
He's not voting, but by virtue of the fact that he's sitting there discussing as the appointing authority,
I can see where it can be a problem.
I see it as indirectly giving the mayor more power, any mayor. I'm gonna stress for the third time now, this is
I know,
not
yeah, I hear
directed.
But I can see where this has been a problem in the past, and in previous administrations, this has been a problem in the past. So I can see why I would say that
Well, that's what I'm
that should come
asking,
on.
like, was there an instance where this was an issue?
No,
I never remember a
this
mayor
is
ever
not-
attending a board.
Well, I remember
I
when
can't imagine it.
and I don't know if this applies to this or not, and I'm sure Dan will let me know if I'm wrong, but I remember when Mayor Correa came down at the city council meeting and just showed up and he wasn't welcome there, and he was like, I can be here, I believe, and he just like came and took a seat and was like, I have the right to be here, and he wasn't. It was, I think they shut off the cameras, it was a
Yeah,
nightmare
they were-
situation.
Can he be there as a,
Of course,
as
anyone
a
can
citizen
attend.
of
He
the
was-
city?
it was
I
a-
mean, the zoning board meets here, anyone can come in.
Yeah. No, I
I
think
would
he came to
think-
the floor.
Is
I
the
think he
key-
was like came
Yeah, no,
down.
that-
It
but
was,
that's-
Is the key
Was
here,
that
though,
extreme?
the including
Yeah.
executive sessions, like, is that?
No,
No?
not before this.
including. This says including.
That's what I'm saying, is
Yeah,
that
well,
where?
no, this is much broader, I
Yeah.
never do this.
Cause he
until I
could
get on
show
the
up,
charter.
he could show up as a citizen of Fall River to any right, any public
Of
meeting,
course he could.
right?
This is not speaking to his ability to speak as a citizen. This is in the capacity as mayor. And I gotta stress now for the fifth time, this is not directed
At
at
the
Paul
current.
Krug.
No, I.
This is directed at the office, not
Actually,
the-
I think you'd be doing Paul Coogan a favor by taking it
Yeah,
out.
baby,
'cause
yeah, I
I can't
agree,
imagine any mayor who wants to attend the
all
board.
meeting
I
and
mean, to decide someone's license, I mean, you get calls on that, you're involved in it,
yeah.
but that's what the board is for, is a buffer. I mean,
Okay.
And that's why you appoint people to do
So
it.
then-
You don't have to.
But then what about the sentence then that precedes this? The member shall be, by virtue of the office, a member of every appointed multiple member body of the city.
That's what I'm
But-
that's what I'm trying to remove him from that.
Okay, well, that's two sentences. You were only removing the last sentence, which said he shall, the mayor may as such ex officio
officio,
member.
yeah.
But it's actually the sentence before then that says,
Would you please reread what you're referring to, Ms.
sure,
Malkovich?
it's, the mayor shall be, by virtue of the office, a member of every appointed multiple member body of the city. The mayor may, as such ex officio member, attend a meeting of an appointed multiple member body of the city at any time, including executive sessions, so called, to participate in the discussions of that body, but shall not have the right to vote.
Well, first of all, he's, according to this right now, he's a member of every multiple member body board in the city
Correct.
as an ex officio member
Right.
because he doesn't have the right to vote. That's why he's ex officio. So I understand why you think it may, and I'm not gonna dispute it. I wanna clean up this, I think this is complex. I don't think the mayor should be involved, with boards, certainly not as a member, whether voting or ex officio. I just think, you know, you also talked about the city council, okay? The city council, and I'm not a lawyer and I don't wanna play one on TV, okay? But the city council is a legislative body, elected by the people, okay? It's not a city board. It is a legislative body responsible for spending every dime on the city side of the ledger. So to ask about the city council and whether the mayor can attend the city council, that is completely two different things.
Yeah, because this is only
So, but then-
appointed,
but-
this is appointed
Wait,
multiple member
So,
bodies.
but then I put on my other hat for work, and I think of, as an executive, and I think, all right, if I'm running a company, and I think of different departments that I put together, and then people to head those departments, as an executive, I wanna be able to jump
Yeah.
into any meeting and be able to see what's going on the people that I put on all of those things. I don't wanna be removed from
Right.
the authority that I have from all of these departments that I put together and all of these boards, so is that what we're doing if we're removing this? And so then I'm kind of backtracking of what I'm saying, because
That's
If-
exactly my
if
problem.
if I
Yeah,
have, so
like
if I'm, as an executive, I put together, you put your security team together, your billing team together, your front office staff, your clinical staff, your medical staff, and I put people in charge of those people. Now I hop into all of those people that I oversee. Was someone gonna tell the executive that they now don't have the authority to oversee or be into
You
those
can't
meetings?
come to our
You
meetings.
can't come to our meeting? Well, I got a problem with that. I
See, I
seriously.
think-
So
I think-
now, so putting that hat on, Dan, I think I have to retract what I'm saying, and I may be looking at it with the wrong eyes, and I don't think that I think I have to think this one through before I make a decision on that. I think I may be jumping the gun here.
I feel safe in this because of the shall not have the right to vote. I mean, but that's what I'm saying with you,
Yeah.
is like, how can you run a city and not be able to like be part of these appointed multi-member, and you're right, maybe some people do stack the boards with people they know, but that doesn't necessarily always mean that they're always going to agree or whatever, but I feel like that's part of his job,
Yeah,
to
like,
know what's going on in those appointed committees.
And
I'm
you're
gonna give a
restricting
perfect-
his ability to gather information. And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that is a negative thing.
I'm gonna give a perfect example, and I just only have to go over, like, just in my day job today, I had to jump into a meeting on my billing team today of something they weren't understanding, so I had to go into their meeting to clarify something today, and then I jumped out, and they continued with their meeting. Now I was here, but I just can't. What if you're not? Well, what do you mean?
What if they say, yeah, you can't come in here?
You're all fired. I mean, what do you do? So I'm just looking at it from a different perspective right now, Dan. So I have to think about this for a minute. I just have to I totally get what you're saying about the power and control, but if I'm thinking about this through as a CEO position, a COO position, an executive position, and you're overseeing everything, does that make sense to not have that authority? So I just have to think about that for a little bit.
The mayor ultimately also has, he has the final say, so to speak, because when these people's terms expire, he doesn't have to reappoint them. Any board member, okay, any board member serves at the will of the administration. The only difference is now, okay, now as a result of this charter adds a second layer and says that all board members, all members of multiple member bodies, AKA board members, are now confirmed by a vote of the city council. So even if any mayor wants to appoint somebody to a board, the city council can say by a majority vote, no.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, what if it was and I'm just thinking out loud.
Informational purposes,
Yeah. So what if, Kathy and I sat on the park board, and Kathy and I are talking, and the mayor appointed me, and we're talking, and we're saying, hey, mayor has the information that such and such park is littered with hypodermic needles. It is hypodermic needles. He's holding the information. That park is full of hypodermic needles. Don't go there. We're on the park when we're spreading this information, hypodermic needles, and that is being spread out to me. And that is just false statement. And then the rest of the park board, that's what is going. That's going out. And the mayor knows that information is inaccurate, but he is not to come to the meeting and say anything because he's not a member and we're not asking him to come and he's not, and he can't come. And we're just giving misinformation. So I'm just talking out loud. So what do we do? And I'm the appointed and I'm not listening to him anymore. I don't want to talk to him anymore. And Kathy and I are just talking about the hypodermic needles in the park and telling the kids to stay away, and we're telling you and no one and none the wiser, and we're gonna shut that part. Where is his authority in that? I guess is what I'm saying. Do we wait till the term is over after we shut down whatever park we decided?
If any member of any board wants to have a discussion with the mayor, as I read that, there's nothing that precludes.
But no, what if we don't want to?
We don't want him there.
We
don't want him there.
We don't even
want
think,
him
we're just
back.
going, yeah.
We're recalling him.
Those are your words, not mine.
I know.
I'm not precluding him from attending.
Yeah.
He wants to attend by invitation of a board member, grand. I'd like to know how many times since this charter passed has any mayor availed themselves of doing that.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm just, nothing.
Because I can guarantee you, this is new language with the passage of this charter.
I wouldn't. There's a lot of new language here, Dan.
All right. Should we vote?
I don't.
Right, there's a motion and a second?
The motion is what?
The motion
Take
is,
language out.
To take.
About that,
The last two
Well, we-
That the mayor
sentences?
serves ex officio on all these boards.
okay.
Can I before we make a motion, Dan? Do you
Motion
think we
is
could
made.
Can we
there's a motion and a second.
All
We're
right.
still in discussion.
discussion? Would it
Councilor
make
Washington.
Would it make sense to table this motion until we had a full body with other people here to talk about it, or do you want to continue with your motion? With maybe, it's up to you. I don't know how important this is for
It
you.
might lock because we have an even number of people here.
Yeah.
I will not be the tiebreaker tonight.
So I don't know if you want to wait and we can table it, or if you want to go ahead.
Let's see, we're missing Paul, we're missing Rena.
Rena, we're missing
Tim.
Tim.
I don't know if Tim is coming back if we continue to meet on Monday.
Well, we won't, but Rena and Paul definitely. And Rena's really looked into that ex officio. She really dug deep into that.
The ex officio piece, that, to my knowledge, that the able chair has looked into, concerns, Mr. Rumsey.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with this. I'll entertain I'll withdraw my motion and ask that it be tabled.
Okay, I second that.
Moving on.
We'll get a vote, right?
All in
So-
favor?
Oh, in favor of tabling it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, agreed.
Aye.
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 Motion is tabled.
9:14.
Now we're on to Article 6.
Yeah, I'm gonna,
Is there,
this is something that I put in. I'm gonna ask that this be tabled. I make a motion to table Article 6.
Second. So we're repeating this meeting next time.
So what are we meeting, next Monday?
no, a week, right? Because next Monday is Memorial Day.
We're eating at your house with hot dogs.
Yeah.
And I won't be here.
We won't table anything there.
Yeah.
Where will I be that night?
Okay.
All right, last but not least.
Section 914, enforcement of charter provisions.
You want me to read it, or are we moving forward? Section 9-14, enforcement of charter provisions. It shall be the duty of the mayor to see that the charter is faithfully followed and that all city agencies and city employees comply with its provisions. Whenever it appears to the mayor that a city agency or city employee is failing to follow this charter, the mayor shall, in writing, cause notice to be given to such city agency or city employee directing compliance with the charter. If it shall appear to the city council that the mayor personally is not following the charter, the city council shall, by resolution, direct the attention of the mayor to those areas in which it believes there is a failure to comply with the charter. the procedures made available in Charter 231A of the general laws may be used to determine the rights, duties, status of other legal relations arising under this charter, including any question of construction or validity which may be involved in such determination.
So I got a lot of notes here.
Yeah, me too.
We-
I have something about 5 days, there's
Discussion.
adding a grievance committee.
Yeah, this is, we talked about a grievance committee, a
Yeah.
grievance board.
Of three, right, you
Yeah.
guys said?
Yep.
Yeah,
If I
We had a
remember.
small a small B, and a small c.
Yeah, A was
So,
up until the
Up in-
last sentence, the
until charter, yeah.
procedures. B was the appointment of a grievance committee, one from the mayor, one from the city council, and one from the school board.
mhm.
I have something there, 7 to 14 days. I think they have 7 to 14 days to review the grievance, I think. And then C was then the part about the procedures
procedures.
made available.
Yep.
And somewhere in here I have the process. One is a formal notice, 2 is charter, goes before the charter grievance,
Committee.
and 3 was court,
No, I think we struck out.
the court, right?
Yeah.
That was replaced with the charter grievance committee.
Yep,
well, ultimately, the way I remember it, once it went to the charter grievance committee, if the petitioners were not satisfied, they then had a right to go to the next level, which would be to court.
Yep.
So I don't think we struck out the court.
no, I
Well,
think
no, that's the only action you can take on
Right.
somebody that's not following the charter, is,
Right,
is
yeah.
court, that's the only
Mhm.
teeth in the whole thing.
Well,
Well, no, the grievance,
the
the
grievance
grievance
committee
committee was,
was put in as sort of a conduit mediator to
before.
prevent.
Right, they would be
Before, they would
first.
be first,
Right,
like, yeah.
So-
But what could they do if the? if
Well, you
the
give, it. so you
What
give,
could
was
they do?
failed to
They
comply.
have, they'd have authority to conduct hearings, to hear from the public, that,
you'd give they
So you
would
would have
say
to
like,
do an
we
ordinance for that,
find
right?
that you are in violation of, let's say I did something
You could
wrong, so
write
they'd
an
say,
ordinance.
Ms. Washington, you're in violation of this. You can either fix it and rectify it, or they're gonna take it to court, and that's basically, okay, well, we'll go and fix this action, so we're not gonna get sued.
So it's like a
Yeah.
intermediate body
Yeah.
to try to
Yes.
resolve before
Yes.
it goes to court. But even that body, that has no authority, except to go on to, they're not even gonna bring the action. It'll be, I'm assuming, the general counsel that would bring the action.
he's not here and I don't exactly remember, but I believe Mr. Machado, was prepared to offer some language to give them, some authority. The idea is, if there's a violation, there's a way to fix it on the local level, potentially, without going to court.
Because that costs money.
So,
Right.
so,
The
I hate to say this, but do we table this till maybe we get Mr. Bishop?
I got news for
he
you.
was coming up with language.
I got news for you. We paid $40,000 for this charter, so.
Oh, well,
If you think that's money well spent, well,
no, we don't, we're with you, Dan.
uh,
So should we table section, 914?
is that a motion?
I make a motion to table 914 and wait for Mr. Machado's language.
I don't know that he said something about, there would have to be language. I shouldn't have said that he was
Preparing right.
preparing it, but he was discussing the idea that there would need to be some language to give the charter grievance board, grievance committee, however you wanna term them, authority,
Right.
teeth, so to speak. So there's a motion to table section 914. Is there a second?
second,
Go ahead.
There is no discussion on a motion to table. All those in favor? Opposed? So voted.
I make a motion to adjourn.
There's a motion to adjourn. Is there
Before that
a,
motion, we should make sure at the next meeting we get
yes,
Because it's gonna be the last one. I don't know that Rena was intending to call another one after tonight, but,
Yeah,
Gonna
I
have
think
to
there
now.
is one
Oh, we're
scheduled.
gonna
Didn't
have
you
one.
have,
Is that-
there's
Yeah, it's the
one?
first Monday of, June.
June,
Yeah.
I will not be here. I have a
Yeah.
subcommittee meeting,
we should try to make sure we get people.
alternative
What is the
education.
date?
The fifth,
June fifth.
Yeah.
The chair asked me to book the atrium for June fifth.
keep it then.
We don't have it in here.
Now,
It'll be in my meeting anyway.
This,
That would be the last meeting, I'm assuming, right?
this,
Well, it's the last meeting, but then I think we're supposed to get
Yeah, written.
a written
go
to
over
review that.
Yeah, we'll have
The
to
last meeting to
review
make
that.
decisions and
Yeah.
then vote in the changes,
Yes.
right, after it's been revised.
this room is not available on Monday, June fifth. So Monday, June fifth, if the meeting stands as it has been discussed, it will be in the atrium.
Get running.
Second the motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.